Hey, collective, what's going on? So glad to be back with a collective reading. I haven't done one in a while. Source told me to do the miracles are endless, and I saw a cow this morning on a video, and they said it's significant. And then look, miracles are endless. I love this. Be at home. So right now, the miracle for you is rest. Truly, rest. I'm hearing she rocks in the treetop all day long, huffing and a puffing and a singing this song. All the little birds on Jailbird Street love to hear the robin going tweet, 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 rockin' robin, tweet, tweetly. Oh my God, my bird just tweeted. But that's what I'm hearing in my head. I don't know how that's significant. Maybe you just heard it. We'll see. We'll see if it comes out in the message later. Oh, okay. So the reason that they're asking you to rest and be at home is so that you can set healthy boundaries. Look at this. Because doing too much is making you feel like the more you do, the less free you feel. And the more you do, the more you feel alone. And they're trying to help you set healthy boundaries and pull you away from the peanut gallery so that they can love you unconditionally, show you what that feels like, so that when you are around these other people, that's why be at home was so important with that bear spirit card. Being at home means rest. It means recouping. It means healing. It means finding things that feel good to you and just rejuvenating your energy. And when you are in a place where you are at home and secluded and rejuvenating your energy, and you're only being infused with ideas from source or your spirit team in general, then when you go out into the world and you're dealing with these other peoples, you're going to realize, oh, we're not a vibrational match. It's not about this person was a dick today and they did. It doesn't matter what they did. All you have to say is that, man, we are not a vibrational match. Like, this isn't going to work. That's all you have to say. And they want to help you. This is coming through strongly. They want to help you stop talking about the details of the problems and start talking about the details of the fun. Not even solutions. They're not going from problem to solution. They're going from problem to relief to fun. And they said fun for you. So you've already been in the relief stage. Now you're in the fun stage. You being at home is going to help you immensely, immensely feel free and to feel like you're completely heard and understood and seen and valued all the time. There is such a difference between feeling that unconditional, pure, positive, powerful energy of love from source compared to human beings. It's so vastly different, so vastly different. And that's honestly, for me, that's one of my biggest problems is meditating, because I want to do it so much. Like, I would rather lay and meditate and just feel that calm, beautiful, or even frisky energy, or just sit there and, like, sometimes I'll go to lay down and meditate to calm myself to go to sleep, and they will have me energized up and laughing all night long. All night long. So there's a relationship here that's building between you and source. And as that builds, you're going to start to see that other people are not a vibrational match to you. And, people go in and out of their vibrations. But I'm talking about people who are consistently negative and pulling at you, telling you problems constantly and pulling at you. If they have nothing positive to say, they don't want you to engage. Right now, this is how you fight that energy. You don't engage. So if somebody starts complaining, don't join the peanut gallery and say, oh man, I know I did this, and this. Even if it is true, don't talk about it. Because more airtime is going to create more momentum for the opposite of what you want. So it's just like in the Bible when when Jesus says, when two or more are there, when two or more gather, we are there, or God, I am there, or some shit like that. It's the same thing for the other side. So if you have the peanut gallery who's complaining, more that complain, where's mine? Hold on. Okay. I had to get my handy dandy little board. This one, I'm so sorry about. Where is the other one? I'm sorry about the condition of this one. My children every time I get these, they destroy them. And the other one I have has really important information on it that I don't want to erase it yet. Tell me in the comments, is anybody else like this? I tend to, like, let's just say you're taking notes on something and your notes are like real scribbly and it's like on half the page over here, and because there's other stuff here. But when you go to remember something, and then you go back and you try to rewrite your notes to make it more, to make it organized. But then when you think about it, what you think about is the original messy note, and that's what helps you retain it. I don't know if I'm the only person that does that, but I am so curious. So if you could put it in the comments. Sometimes when I just write notes and they're messy, I retain them. But if I try to rewrite them and make them organized, I lose the content. It's weird. Anyway, so what Source is saying here is the peanut gallery. So the way our universe works and the way we handle this, and this came from a vision. I had a vision years ago during my spiritual Kundalini awakening. It sent me to the hospital and had me put on suicide watch because I was seeing so many things. I remember calling my twin flame that morning, seeing all this stuff, going nuts, and tried telling him. He's like, Crystal, I don't have time for this shit. And he hung up on me. And I was like, oh my God. And then I looked at something on the computer and went, oh my God. And it just, this remembrance came to me that I don't remember here on earth. And I started hyperventilating, and then it took me into this whole other realm. Oh my God, it was crazy. It took me into this whole other realm where I saw every life from the beginning of time. And it's like all this stuff happened. I went to the hospital, but then when I got back, I went to the bathroom, and in our bathroom, we have tiles that are like marbled on the floor. Now it's stick tiles. It's not real marble. And it's the same thing up the walls because years ago we had some type of pipe bust and we just put the same thing on the walls as we did on the floor. And, the way they're like marbled and there's all these little lines. Well, if you know anything about art, and I didn't know this at the time, when you see things that just have all this, like all these little lines and patterns, Source is able to use those lines and patterns and pull those out of the wall, just the ones that they want to be vivid, and make images. And what happened was I saw Noah's Ark coming out of the wall and out of the floors at me, and I felt the first life on earth. I felt where we are now, but there was one part, and it goes with Abraham Hicks' teachings. When we go back, we're celebrated. You know, we go back like, hey, I made it. Yeah. Well, I was sitting on the toilet, and I felt the first life, and they realized who they were, had like this like weird, kind of like in Fight Club when he realizes he's the person. There's not two people. Kind of like that. It's like that realization, like, and they make that weird noise in the movie, and you just have this panic moment. And then I felt like I was having a heart attack, and I started to fall over. And then all of a sudden I was straight up, and I heard like a legion of angels going, oh, really loud. And then I look, and coming out of the walls is Noah's Ark at me. And then in my head, I heard like I'm talking to you as audibly as I'm talking to you. I heard, hey, I made it. And then I heard a whole group of people going, yeah. And then I heard the original person who said, hey, I made it, go, okay, now what are we going to do about this? And what they were talking about is when we're up there, like in the ethers, there are vibrations. There's pockets of vibration that's really dense on the planet. So say over here we have this is going on because there's been a lot of healing here. But in this particular region, this area, there is so much dysfunction and toxicity happening over here. It's kind of clearing up here. Down here, it's still happening. You choose what you want to experience when you come here. And some of you have experienced a lot of these things, and you came to experience this, transmute it so it goes away, which raises the vibration of the planet. All right. So when this is the same thing happens when you're talking to the peanut gallery. So when you're around people that are complaining, you're around people who are just used to talking about everything negative and nothing positive or trying to look forward. This is this energy over here. Let me just color it in. Shit, let me make it red. Let me see if the red even works. My kids, oh, there we go. There it is. All right. So this is let's just say you're over here being at home at peace. Source is filling you up. You're feeling really good. You're vibrating really high. And then somebody comes around you that used to come around you and it didn't bother you. But now all of a sudden it bothers you. It is because your vibration has been up here where they're still down here. So they're still, because they haven't shifted, they are still going to talk about The same problems. Oh, my leg hurts. My back hurts. This motherfucker did this to me at work. This bitch cut me off on the road. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. Did you see that post of blah, 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 blah. And see all that? Because every time you think something for 16 seconds and you add to that, every 16 seconds, law of attraction is adding more momentum to it. So if you're up here and they're down here, let's just say they're not complaining at this time, all right? And you see them, hey, how you doing? And you just saying, how you doing? Oh, man, I had the worst day. You wouldn't believe what happened to me. You join them down here. What happened? What happened? Oh, well, my boss did this and this happened and then this happened and you, this fucking shit. And then as they're telling the story to you and you're listening to it, it's affecting your vibration because you are internalizing that even without realizing it. And they're adding more momentum to their problems. So while you engage by thinking you're being polite, by asking them what's wrong, you're actually adding the momentum to the problems, which is going to extrapolate and make more momentum go in the wrong direction for them. Be the example for them. So the best way to move forward, you run it, okay, you're vibing high, you're real positive, things are going great. You see this person, you're like, hey man, what's up? How you? And then they start saying, oh man, all this crap. And they start to tell you stuff like, oh man. Leave it at that. Oh man. Do you hear that? Like, are they going to feel like you didn't engage and you did something wrong or you weren't a good listener? Probably. But what are you doing? You're shifting your energy. You not engaging creates it keeps this from growing momentum, because eventually you're going to listen and then you're going to reciprocate the conversation and then you're going to start adding all of your problems to it. And then when you leave the conversation over here, you're not going back up here. You're going to be staying down here. You see that? You're going to be staying down there. That's why you can't do that. Okay. Sorry to pull out the little teaching board on you, but I feel like the visuals sometimes help. And when I'm in a position to have a lot better visuals with videos and stuff, the teachings are going to be a lot more, they're going to be a lot better. Okay. Thank you for the confirmation source. I love that. Okay. So let's get on with the reading. You're in the process of not giving two fucks about what anybody else is thinking or doing or having or being. And that's where you need to be. It's not you being disrespectful. It's you respecting yourself more than you respect other people. You came here in your body, in your life, to live your dreams, your desires, experience your pain, experience your healing. So why in the hell would you want to be respectful to other people and disrespect yourself? That is what Source is trying to get across. It's not about being a bitch or a dick or something to someone else and disrespecting them. It's just about respecting yourself by not engaging anymore. There are people who are just not going to be able to go with you where God is taking you. 13:25 on the clock. 3:25 is my brother's date of death. Joshua, I love you so much. This is really sticking out to me, this group here, so I'm going to pick it out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this is why. Okay, this right here, this is why it's so important. Look at this. This is a smiley face with a wink. You see that? Can you see that? It's a smiley face with a wink. That is Source winking at you. This calculator has pi on it. The calculation of pi, 3.14159. And I know it goes on forever, but that here, oh my God. I just realized 314 is my dad's birthday reverse, 413. And it was just 413 on the clock. Oh my God. Okay. There's something significant there for me. I'm going to move on. Okay. Anyway. So, oh my God. You are going through this and preparing to separate yourself from this energy because you can't take the problems with you into your blessings. Your blessings, this Christmas tree, and these 2 4-leaf clover, these blessings come with high authority. These blessings require you to be a leader. They require you to stand above the crowd, to be the one that moves differently. So by you disengaging in these types of conversations and shifting the conversation with something positive by distracting them, you are going to change their energy and change the trajectory of the pattern of the energy that's going on in your home. In your home. That's why they're saying be at home. It will be much easier for you to practice these with people in your current environment. If you do have people in your current environment in your home. Practicing these things, it's going to give you evidence on a small scale, which is going to goose up your belief, which is going to help you and prepare you for doing it on a much larger scale. Because I feel like you're somebody who's going to be, maybe you're going to be on stage and somebody comes up to ask you questions, and then they start to challenge you. You are going to need that behavioral technique. You're going to need to master that behavioral technique of shifting the conversation to what they're really asking instead of the complaint. See, people are going to come to you, and I'm talking to a spiritual teacher here. People are going to come to you with all of their complaints, the details of the problem, and then it's like they're going to constantly focus on one person and make that person the problem, not realizing the bigger problem is their energy. So you learning to disengage with the people around you now, it is work. It is practice and work and skills that you are learning for a much bigger job. Okay? You're in the process, like your roots. This one, I love this one, and I never gotten this message from this actual tree of life, but I am getting it today. The roots in this tree of life, they are not wider than the branches. Let me see if I can get it to focus. You see that? See how the roots down here are not as wide as the branches up above? They may be down here because the roots tend to grow underground, unseen, and they are wider than the branches. You just can't see them. That is what's happening with you right now. 7:13 on the clock, that's my grandma. So your branches, the roots, your branches are high. You can see the branches. You can see some of the energy. But these roots, they're deep and they are way wider. They are way wider. Width of my hand compared to these than the branches. And these branches, remember the leaves on the branches? These leaves fall off and they die. There's seasons for that. So there's seasons for people in your life and circumstances in your life, places in your life. You're in a position where you have something to offer the world on a much bigger scale than what you think you do. And it's like you're not understanding why there's isolation or, discomfort, or you don't have money to do all these things. It's because if you had money to do all these things, you wouldn't be at home the way that they need you to be at home, so that they can talk to you, so that they can be with you. Source, and I'm saying they, and it's source, your spirit team. I don't know, something about winter being really significant, because now this was poking up, straight up out of here like this. And then I have the elephant. You are so protected. It's been a long journey. But you have been divinely protected the entire time, and your roots have been growing deeper and wider for a very long time. And it needed to happen. It was necessary and vital to have that before this next leg of your journey begins. Because if you weren't prepared in that way, when this next leg of your journey began, you would look out at that crowd and be overwhelmed and run off the stage. That's basically what they're saying. So you needed experiences with adversity, maybe some negative comments on your social media, or you needed, criticism from somebody that you really care about, or to say something that really hurt you, so that you can show yourself, you can bounce back from it. See, here's the thing that most people don't understand. These leaders, the leaders that are running this world, basically, who are showing us the way, they're lonely at times. They have everything that they need, but the reason they have everything they need is because of their behavioral output, their emotional set points, their mindset. There is no amount of action that is going to protect you from people saying negative things about your work. There is no amount of protection that's going to keep people from disagreeing with you. And if you were in a place where you cared too much about what other people thought, and then that person, you have a big crowd on the stage, you're already nervous, and this person comes up and the first thing they do is start challenging you, and you don't have the confidence to handle that or see through what's really going on, then you're going to fail. That's why this had to happen the way that it's happened. It has been so much more of an emotional and behavioral and mental game than anything physical that you've done. And it will continue to be that. That's why this has taken so long. Healing emotions, changing your mindset and perspective, and having that strength, that mental clarity and strength and those boundaries is absolutely vital to your success. So those things had to be worked out before the physical things that you do take action on come in. Now, having said that, you've been doing all of the meaty, heavy lifting of oh, sorry, my back needed to crack. I just had to crack it. And you know what? I said the meaty, heavy lifting of, and then my shoulders got tight, and then my back cracked. Literally doing heavy lifting, physical, doing things that make you feel so heavy because you're constantly being pulled to the point where you have no time, and you get stressed, and you start judging people, and you just need to sit down and go, oh, fuck this shit. Light up the joint, and you're smoking, Instead of doing that, they're trying to teach you other ways to handle that, strengthen that mental muscle, that emotional muscle, through spiritual practices that lead you to a place where you can be the leader, where you can stand on that stage, be challenged, and realize somebody's challenging you from a place of a broken inner child. Someone's challenging you from a belief system that is a faulty belief. Someone is challenging you that may actually challenge you to see something differently, and you may change the way you see something differently on that stage. And being courageous enough to accept that and be humble enough, like, wow, I really understand what you're saying now. I get that point of view. Being in that energy, but still respecting yourself instead of saying, oh, I must be wrong because they're better than me. They have more money than me. They look better. They're thinner. They're more successful. They probably know better than me. I'm wrong. And always thinking you're wrong. That's the energy that I was getting. Somebody who's always thinking they're wrong and other people are right. And even if you don't realize you're doing it, it's your behaviors around these people that do it. It's like you easily succumb to whatever the energy is that's around you instead of the energy succumbing to you. You being dominant and them being less dominant. Okay. That was a lot to come through in just 3 cards. All right. I'm just going to pull some tarot for this one. I've got a couple more I want to do. So I'll talk about the other stuff in other readings. I've got 100 decks out here. They want me to use these. I have 100 decks out here, so it's hard to... That came out. Love. Aware of great pride. Thinking you're better than somebody because you've healed. Just because you've healed, I have goosebumps everywhere. This is happening with the collective. A lot of the light workers are going through this. Your healing and your energy is above other people's. And it's like it's easy for you to give grace to strangers, but not so easy for you to give grace to the people who matter to you most in your home. Those are the people who need it the most and deserve it the most, because those are the people you know. Those are the people you could affect and help change in positive ways. Strangers, it's easy because everybody's being pleasant and nice, not really saying what they think, and there's not a lot of history and pain and trauma tied to that, right? So it's easier to talk to strangers and influence them than it is our home, people in our home, because they've known who we are. But if they see you starting to consistently disengage in drama and focus on other things and talk about those other things, they're going to either start pulling away and back out, or they're going to join you. Okay. There's information out there that is going to be helpful to you. Education is key for a lot of things. But something in regards to love, beware of great pride. Maybe I'm getting a twin flame vibe here, where maybe one is, and it doesn't have to be twin flame. It can go for any relationship. One is ascending before the other, but that doesn't make the other any less valuable. It doesn't make you a better person. It just puts you in a higher vibration. They still want you to see other people through the lens of love as much as you can. And you know, it's hard for humans to live without condition. We say unconditional love, but we don't know. We as humans really don't understand what that means. Once you get a glimpse of what unconditioned is through the eyes of Source and through the feelings of Source, healing you from your dysfunction, you're going to realize, oh my God, I've been living conditionally my entire life and didn't even know the definition of the word. It's different to conceptually understand something than it is to experience it and understand it through a different lens. It's completely different. So they want you to be careful of thinking you're better than other people because they're not up. It's almost like those tarot videos where you see people in the comments where they're like, oh yeah, you know, they say a reader says something, and the reader is going to tell you, they're going to inform you in a reading of the things that are going on because Source is asking them to. But that doesn't mean you sit there in the comments and you write an entire paragraph about all the dysfunction and all the problems that you have. When you do that, you are creating more momentum for the problems. And then sometimes, you know, but it's like, you know that feeling where you want to say something, but you're told not to, but you're just like chomping at the bit, like, oh, I got to say it, I got to say it, I got to say it. That is momentum. That doesn't mean you have to say it. That means the momentum is going in the wrong direction. It's going in the blame direction. Blame is not the place that you want to be. That blame is very far down on the emotional scale, and your emotions are what show you where you're laying vibrationally. Where did I say blame? Blame is 15. Look at 1. And 1, if you notice, has like what, 4, 5, 6 different emotions on it. Blame's all the way on the back over here. So even though you may be doing better, if you're still in a place of blaming and talking about your problems in detail to people, you're not going to get the help that you need. Sometimes Source, I will preface it by saying this. Sometimes Source will have you say something kind of as a complaint or just venting to a specific person because they know that specific person is in the vibrational vicinity, in alignment, to receive the impulse from their inner being to say exactly what they need to say to you through that person. So sometimes that will happen and it's okay. It's not an all or nothing thing. This is where the balance comes in. It's not all or nothing. The balance is that it's not like this. It'll constantly be a teeter-totter if you look at it like this. It can't be looked at that way. What they're asking you to do is disengage as much as possible to get rid of a lot of that energy, and you're going to find that it shifts the energies around you in your current environment. I love this so much. I'm going to leave it here because it's longer than I expected. But I am going to do another one, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and love.